I, 37 male, have been married to my wife, Sadie, 37, for 4 years. I have a daughter, Chloe, from my previous marriage, tween. Sadie has a daughter, Ace, 19, from an ex. Ace hasn't been in our lives often, as she lived with her grandparents her whole life because the state took her from Sadie when Ace was 7. We still saw her on holidays and tried to reach out. Ace was living out of state with her boyfriend, but he was recently arrested, so she asked if she and her baby could move in with us, as she needed help getting back on her feet. My wife and I spoke about it and agreed. When I brought up the extra bedroom in the attic, which is an area in the attic we made into a spare room for guests many years ago, and no one uses the attic anyway, my wife became upset, gasped even, and said she wasn't making her daughter with a young baby sleep in the dirty attic. I said that obviously we would clean and prepare it, and where else does she suggest she sleep? Which is when she told me Chloe's bedroom would be perfect. Chloe's bedroom is very large and across the hall from the bedroom, which Sadie said was perfect. I told her Chloe would not be giving up the bedroom she'd been living in since before I even met her. She got upset and started to plead, saying that this could make up for the years lost, proving that she really loved her and was wanted. I told her no, she could prove that another way, that we wouldn't be giving up the bedroom. She got angry and said a tween doesn't need all that space, and that I was picking favorites and not even thinking of the bigger picture. Ace will need more room, and it would be hard for her to go up and down the stairs with a baby, etc. I stuck to my answer, and my wife slammed the door and went for a drive. Today she tried convincing me again, and I wouldn't give in, and we got into another argument. Am I the idiot? Edit. Ace was removed from Sadie's care because she was deemed unfit. She had sugar and drinking problems. So Sadie was deemed unfit, and you, a person with a young daughter, thought it was a good idea to marry someone who not only had their child taken away, but never earned that child back? You are the idiot, OP. She clearly doesn't care about her stepdaughter and is ready to throw her out of the only bedroom she's known. She's not a good mom to anyone. It's not just a daughter. It's an infant grandchild, a do-over child. Once they move in, Sadie will not want them to leave. Amazing point. She will totally latch on to the infant and try to live a new motherhood through her daughter's baby vicariously. There's nothing temporary about the arrangement. Her daughter has nowhere to go and a young child. You're going to have them forever. That's scary and horrible because once the daughter and granddaughter enter the house, I'm unsure how she'll treat her stepdaughter. I fear the worst. This so much. No, the attic is too dirty for my child. But we can put your child in the attic, though. She's willing to move your daughter, her stepdaughter, to the dirty attic, but not have her daughter stay in the attic, and she sees nothing wrong with it. It's surprising Ace would trust her own child in a home with Sadie, given what she must have been through herself. She really must be desperate. OP would be far better off helping her find her own little place nearby and easing them into getting reacquainted at Ace's pace. That would be best if he can afford it. Why does he have to afford it? It's his wife's daughter. She should be the primary one paying for her daughter. I'm betting that Ace is going to abandon the baby, and then things are going to get even worse. Sir, this is the hill to die on. Time for your wife to be held accountable for her life choices. Time for her daughter to be held accountable for her life choices. Your innocent tween daughter doesn't deserve to pay dearly for others' life choices. The woman needs to get over herself and her dumb silent treatment. If she doesn't let this go, maybe it's time to go your separate ways. If you give in, your daughter will remember how her dad treated his new family better. My wife, Alice, has had an eating disorder her whole life. She doesn't allow herself anything with too many carbs or sugar. Her meals are mostly veg and protein. When we first started dating, she was motivated to change that about herself and develop a healthier relationship with food. She started seeing a therapist and a doctor and was doing well. She came a really long way, and I was doing whatever I could to support her. But when we had our 2 daughters, pre-tween and tween, she went right back to square one because she was so insecure about her body. She completely refused to get any help because she didn't want to gain weight. I've done everything I could to help her, but she's completely against it now. My daughters and I usually have the same thing for our meals, and Alice eats the low-carb, low-fat version of it. Recently, our older daughter expressed that she wants to start eating what Alice has, and she'll give reasons that sound exactly like what Alice would say. For example, one night we were having rice, salmon, and veggies for dinner. My daughter said, "Dad, don't put rice on my plate. I'll be bloated tomorrow." I asked her why she said that, and she couldn't answer me. She completely refused to have the rice, and I obviously can't force her, but she's been doing it more often lately. I sat her down and explained that carbs aren't bad for her, and it's essential to her growth and health that she has a balanced diet. I thought she understood what I was saying, but it hasn't helped one bit because she still refuses to eat any rice, potatoes, bread, or snacks at all. I told my wife that she needs to stop making comments about her appearance and labeling certain foods as bad because it's affecting our daughter, and I'm scared of what level this could get to for such a young child. My wife said, "Oh, sorry. Let me just switch my eating disorder off for you, darling. I didn't realize it was such an inconvenience." This ticked me off, and I told her to stop being sarcastic and passive-aggressive. I said I'm genuinely worried about our daughter, and we need to do something to nip it in the bud before it gets worse for her. She said I'm daft for bringing that up with her when she struggles with food too. She said if I knew how to help someone who struggles with food, I wouldn't have spent my entire life struggling. My mind is a jumbled mess. I think I'm just going to seek help on how to help my daughter and do it on my own. But I feel we won't make progress if my wife keeps making comments about food in front of her. She doesn't get to refuse help. She's sick, and your kids are starting to get it too. So, like any contagious illness, when the kids are involved, she has to see a specialist doctor, or you have to keep the kids away from her. Did you make some unhelpful comments? Yes. Were you desperate? Also, yes. So, not the idiot. This crap needs to be sorted out ASAP before she messes up your kids even more than she already has. Right? Yes, it will be tough for her, but it's her responsibility as a parent to grit her teeth and deal with her issues. At this point, it's not just your wife who has to get help. Your kids need it too. They're already on the path to having a lifelong eating disorder. It's utterly shocking to me that OP's wife isn't saying, "Oh my God, I'll do anything to help keep my kids from ending up like I did." I mean, what the heck? OP, get your daughter to her own therapist and get your daughter's doctor involved too. I don't know how parental rights work if your wife objects, but do what you have to do. Your daughter's health trumps your wife's feelings. This issue started when my wife left for a week for a girls' trip. The kids are all in school, and I took over as the primary caregiver when she was gone. It went well, and when she returned, she asked if I had trouble. I told her no, and everything went smoothly. This started an argument about how I thought it was so easy that she was a stay-at-home mom. It wasn't a good time, and I'd already been pushing her to return to work part-time since the kids were in school. We have talked about her looking around summertime. The issue now is I work from home twice a week, and every time she sees my screen or I complain about work, she tells me she can do it. I've talked to her about it, and nothing has changed. That if she did, it would go smoothly. I thought back on our argument and asked her about it. She denied it had anything to do with it. So she won't stop, and I've had enough of it today. I was trying to figure out why my code had an error. She saw what I was doing and told me she could do that. I told her to go ahead and make a copy that she could work on. Well, she tried for about 5 minutes until she gave up. I reiterated that if she could do my job, find the error. This started a huge argument about making her look like an idiot, and now she isn't talking to me. Am I the idiot for proving that my wife can't do my job? Not the idiot. When she came back, she asked if I had trouble. It sounds like she expected the house to fall apart without her presence because her role as a housewife is so difficult that a man can't possibly do it himself. The fact that it went so smoothly for you probably made her angry because it's proven that the workload at home isn't so huge that it prevents her from going back to work. and now you both know that. Several years ago, when my stay-at-home mom ex-wife was planning a week trip, I told her that I'd have our cleaning lady come a second time during the week so the house could be clean for her when she got back. She told me that was cheating. I was supposed to suffer so I could understand what she goes through every day. But I was planning to work every day, so it would be absurd for me to do both her job and mine. The point of her getting away was so she'd have a break, not have an opportunity to teach me a lesson or make me suffer. She refused to go on the trip because I planned to bring in the cleaning lady, but she liked to play the victim in all things, and that's why she's my ex-wife. Christ alive, glad she's your ex. OP, it sounds like your wife might be dealing with feelings around being a stay-at-home mom now that your kids are in school and don't need her as much. But lashing out at you isn't a fair or effective way of handling that. Is it possible she's feeling apprehensive about going back to work after being away for so long? I'm sure it's a nerve-wracking thought, especially if she's looking for jobs unrelated to what she was doing before. Maybe a therapist or a counselor could help her navigate this in a healthier way. I live in the north. It's super cold, and every single year, I make little bags to give to the homeless. I go into the city and do this. The bags include things like gift cards, socks, hot warmers, hats, and ski masks. I'm decently known in the community and also give them to homeless shelters. I make a ton of these each year, and I did last weekend. Overall, it went really well, but sadly, I didn't have enough this year, so I'm making more, around 200 more this week. I babysat on Wednesday, and when my daughter-in-law picked them up, she looked at the bags. She asked if I was trying to increase crime, pointing at the ski mask. I told her it was to help keep them warm. She kept going on about how I was increasing crime, and I had enough and told her to get out. She got even more mad about the mask and told me the crimes were on my hands, which is when I told her to get lost. She's angry, and my son is angry at me, and I'm disgusted. This is how she thinks of people experiencing homelessness? They want an apology or won't come for the holidays. Am I the idiot for losing my temper? Excuse me, what crimes? So the only thing keeping them from committing crimes is the lack of a ski mask that you willingly provide? Her logic is twisted. If someone wants to commit a crime, they will do it, whether they have a ski mask or not. Keep helping people. You're doing a good thing. You are not the idiot. Maybe you should tell her you can't babysit anymore because it makes her lazy, or she shouldn't wear tennis shoes anymore because she might be forced to run a marathon, or that she shouldn't carry a big purse because she's obviously going to be shoplifting, or own knives because she'll be out stabbing people. What a stupid thing to say. Please don't apologize. The audacity of daughter-in-law. OP, you're a blessing to this community, and your daughter-in-law can screw right off. Imagine if she or her children were ever in that situation. I bet she would be praying for a mask. While I think it's important for husbands to stand up for their wives in familial situations, this certainly isn't one of them. It's their loss to miss spending time with a caring, giving, and loving person. My wife does similar things up here in Canada. People who have never had to try and survive a 30 degrees Celsius winter night with no shelter can't possibly understand how appreciated I'm sure your care packages are. Homeless people are just people. Good for you for making an effort to help. Enjoy your quiet Christmas without ignorant opinions. I had my gender reveal at the weekend, and when it was announced we were having a baby girl, my sister burst into tears. She has 3 boys and has always wanted a girl. They had their third in hopes of getting a girl, but when it didn't happen, my brother-in-law said he didn't want any more kids. My youngest nephew's a toddler, so I was surprised when she reacted like that. It annoyed me because when she ran to the bathroom, my mom went after her when she had barely congratulated us. When my sister returned from the bathroom, she said congrats to me and had stopped crying but still looked angry and was just sitting with her arms crossed. I told her to leave and that she was selfish, and she had 3 healthy kids and needed to get over it. She was angry and took her gift with her, and my mom said I need more empathy for my sister and that it's been really hard for her to give up on her dream. My mom only stayed for a little longer and then went early to check on my sister. Am I the idiot for kicking my sister out of my gender reveal? Not the idiot. Wow, if she was so sensitive about the gender, she should have stayed at home. Not to mention, how's that going to make her kids feel? But no, she made your day about her. You were right to eject her. She behaved appallingly. Is she always the spoiled one? Let me guess. Your sister's the golden child of your family. I pity those 3 boys. Imagine being the kids of your sister, though. So mom's crying because she likes girls more? Now, that's just sad. People, why? Those boys will never forget seeing how upset their mother was for them being born the wrong gender. That kind of insecurity and guilt burns deep. Your sister should be ashamed of herself. Congratulations on your little girl, and all the best. When I, 36 male, was a kid, my parents never celebrated my birthday. I only knew what day my birthday was because of family members wishing me a happy birthday. I try really hard to make everyone I'm close to have a really good birthday. I guess my logic is that they feel wanted and appreciated, which is not how I felt as a kid. It was my birthday yesterday, and my wife, 35, didn't mention it. She didn't say happy birthday to me or anything. Neither did my daughter, but she's a preschooler, so I don't expect her to, LOL. I don't care too much about presents or doing anything special. It just would have been nice for her to at least acknowledge that it was my birthday. I did wait until midnight in case she was doing that thing that they do in movies, where the person pretends that they've forgotten someone's birthday when they actually haven't. I know that's stupid, but still. After it turned 12, it's really embarrassing, but I kind of broke down crying. I know it's stupid, crying over something that isn't a big deal, but it just made me feel how I felt as a kid, and it just brought back a lot of feelings and memories from my childhood. My wife walked in on me crying, pretty much in the middle of a panic attack, to be honest, LOL. She asked me what was wrong, and once I told her, she got really angry and accused me of trying to make her feel bad for something that wasn't important. She was quite loud, which woke my daughter up, so I left the room to put her back to sleep. Am I the idiot? Edit. She likes doing a big thing for her birthday because it's important, which makes sense, and I'm happy to make her birthday special for her. She usually gets me a card or something small and says happy birthday. So, despite knowing your history and how important celebrating birthdays is to you, and despite liking making a big thing of her own birthday, she normally only gives you something small and wishes you a happy birthday? Well, that's unfair to say the least. You are not the idiot. And that's before we even consider her words to you on your birthday this year. I don't know why your parents didn't celebrate, but you have trauma from that in and of itself. Her flipping the switch and saying it wasn't important was even more cruel. It wasn't important to her, but it was to you. I'm really sorry. Please reevaluate this relationship. Your wife thinks her birthday is important, while yours is not. She is the idiot, not to mention a very inconsiderate and selfish partner. Happy belated birthday.